everyone, I'm Holly. I am the maker and doer of all the things here at Missouri River Soap, and today I'm making one of our classic soaps, Confetti Blossom. I have everything prepped here behind me. I have a mound of shreds, and I do need to get them in my bowl here and weigh them so I know how much is going into my batch. I've got all of my goodies here. My fragrance is very yellow. We've got some coconut milk and my titanium dioxide water blend. I've got some really fine shreds for the top. That look nice. All right, get on my scale here. And I just do want to see how much is going in. That is just a load of rainbow shred. And in this particular case, I shredded up a batch that I had made. It was just an unscented test batch. I'm trying a new design. And so it's a little bit older and the curls are a little bit drier. Ooh, we're losing some. But I'm not concerned about it. I hope I don't eat my words. I wanted them to dry out a bit, so that's why they're spread out just a little bit. I just love these curls. Look at them. Now normally I would make this batch after my rainbow soap. And whilst I love my rainbow soap, I have not been feeling moody to make one yet this year. So I thought, you know what? People are wanting Confetti Blossom. I want Confetti Blossom. Let's just do it this way. I think that'll be just fine. Oh my. So my mold holds a 270 ounce oil batch. So that means it's going to be a lot weightier in the long run by the time we add everything. And then so for this batch, I pulled it down to 250 ounces of oil. And we'll just see. I have a batch here of Juicy that I just made. I haven't even cleaned up yet because I mean, my table, everything's clean, but I still have all my pictures to scrape because I am losing daylight fast and I'm trying to get this video done. But I will gauge the fullness based on that batch and how it fits in my mold. So here we go, look. Just a bowl of beautiful. It's gorgeous. So fun. So I guess it didn't say. That was 45 ounces of soap. And I may not put it all in either. Okay, so I have my oils here. Olive, coconut, castor, kokum, mango, shea, apricot. That's a blend that I am currently in love with. And I always have this very large spatula to help me out so it doesn't just fall in. But I don't need it anymore. I probably actually do need it some more. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and blend in the coconut milk. Scooped over here. You guys can see better. I've got my big pot, but I'm doing alright with the shorter shaft for my stick blender. Alright, so I have my lye solution here, and it's a little bit reduced to accommodate the water that I've mixed with my titanium dioxide, and I've also reduced the water in the entire batch to accommodate the fact that I'm using titanium dioxide. So instead of a 30% lye concentration, I'm working at a 32 because I'm adding titanium dioxide to whiten this batch because my fragrance is very yellow. Always has been, probably always will be. So I'm going to go ahead and strain these little bits out. My lye solution is still just a hint warm, but overall I just want those out just in case. They did go in a little while, and I have some air bubbles. This is why you don't rush. It's fine if it gets dark behind me, right? Still nice and bright in here. All right, so now I want to bring this to emulsification. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to be adding in the titanium dioxide, and I want to give that a little blend. In with the titanium dioxide, it was 2 tablespoons of titanium dioxide to just 1 ounce of water, so it shouldn't be too bad. To bring her friend back in here. Now this does always lighten up a bit. It'll be yellow for the first while, but it does tend to whiten more. Alright, so now we're going to add in this fragrance oil. It is so good. It's such an amazing springy type scent. Tulips, hydrangeas, fresh spring air. So the thing about this one is that I need it to be thin enough that everybody mixes in nicely, but it does have to be able to hold it up. All right, this is looking pretty good. It's still thin, but Confetti Blossom, my fragrance blend, does accelerate just a little bit. All right, we're gonna start putting in the shreds. It's still nice and thin, but we're getting a nice trace, and I just think this is going to be wonderful. In they go. Oh, beautiful. Isn't that lovely? Well, we're definitely going to want most of them. But let me stir it. I don't want that clump. Let me stir it and see what I think. And then it's going to make a very squishy sound. I think we'll add some more in. I guess we'll just put it all in. I think it'll be great. I might have to make some sample sizes. Do I have a mold? Yeah, I could probably get out a step stool and grab another little mold very quickly if I needed it. I just like to stir just to make sure that they've broken apart from each other. Because it still was a bit sticky inside the loaf. So I can see that as I'm getting more here, they are sinking a little, but I think it'll be okay now. This is a stage that I do worry about my cameras because it plops and splatters and yeah. So here's hoping that my cameras will be fine. I guess I'll go this way because I need to pour from this side. Yeah, it's still pretty thin. All right, here goes. It's gonna be lots of plopping. I think I'm just gonna put it all in, maybe? Let me look. Let me shift it. I do like to kind of stir in the mold just to make sure that they haven't kind of concentrated to one side. All right, I'm going to smack it down. All right, so I'm looking back here. I think based on the amount of mold I'm seeing, I think I'm going to, I still want to be able to cover the mold without any issues. So I think we'll put that into another little, I'm gonna go get my green mold. All right, so I'm gonna put the rest of it here into my little green OG Crafter's Choice silicone mold. Let's see how full this is gonna get. Not too full. That'll be fabulous for samples. This is definitely one that I get many requests for. And usually, like I said, I make it after the rainbow, and so I haven't been in a position to do that until I was like, you know what? I can make this without a rainbow batch. And then that way I don't take anything extra from the rainbow batch, because you see how many or how much it actually takes, right? How much soap it actually takes to make a really nice confetti batch like this. It's always fun to make these spring and summer vibing soaps after we have been so busy with fall and holiday season. This is just so much fun. I'm gonna grab this little bit of shred that I had back there. I wasn't, oh dear, see, it's, what are you doing? So all the shred just ends up so differently, just from the same soap, depending on the size that you use. So I don't know if you can really see it that well, but it is just kind of like a nice fine shred, and it is what I normally use exclusively. However, I had used a little rotary dealio, and this is what it made. And so I just think it's just so pretty, and it's just super fine, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use it as the majority, because then it'll fall in and kind of stick better than some of these bigger pieces. So all in all, so for this I used a little rotary cheese grater thing, but obviously it's only for soap making. And then for the big pieces, then I used a box grater and used the big section, big pieces, whatever. Boy, I really got concentrated, didn't I? I don't love it when it's concentrated like that, but I think it's going to be pretty. It's just going to be, you know, top of your bar is going to be very small. You're not going to notice a whole lot. So yeah, so I did most of the internal, all of the internal is this one. The cute little ones I put on at first were from this one. And then my cheese grater were these small ones. So like we could probably put a little bit on here. It's not, it always shreds a little bit weird. That's why I like to mix them up. We're going to stop with that. Oh my goodness, what a fun batch. This is always a favorite. I've been making this one for ages and ages. So I do just kind of tap them down. Try to make sure not to stick my fingers really in any soap. But just kind of, oh look, there's one of those long ones. I'm going to take it out. Just kind of push it down in a little bit where it needs it. So what I used in this today was a little bit more cured than I normally would use. It's still going to go through the saponification process. It should be completely fine. It should not have any issues with sticking within the soap. So I'm not really worried about that at all. But because it was a little bit more dry, I was able to get these really fun, tight little curls. And then I was also able to get just more definition in the main curls, because they were actually a little bit curled, where when I'm using a more fresh soap, it kind of comes out more in long lines. And that looks nice too, but I think this is going to be lots of fun. I'm going to put on some glitter because I always put glitter on this batch, but I'm going to put on my mask because it's very airborne. Alright, so I just think this turned out beautiful, and it's very solid at this point because it has thickened up nicely. I am going to spritz it with alcohol, cover it with a piece of cardboard. Because it is in a wood mold, it is going to generate heat, and it is going to come back up to temperature, and it is going to gel, which is what I want. So it's going to solidify and saponify and do its thing, and then I will be back in a couple of days to cut it with you all. Okay, so we're back to cut this Confetti Blossom Soap. Love it so much. We also have this cute little one, so we need to unmold it as well. These are just such good molds. I have a lot of good memories, a lot to shake off. All right. A lot of good memories with these molds. And I'll just have to cut these up into like little samples. Won't that be nice? Look how nicely it unmolded. This probably didn't gel. I didn't worry about trying to force it to gel or anything. It just probably didn't. Alright, so now into the big one here. It'll be a little crinkly. It is really loaded down with confetti, so I'm excited to see the inside. Pop some off. Oh yeah, that has a lot of confetti, but it's pretty. I think I'm gonna try, whoa, let's shake off any extra here. Heavy. Alright, so I'm bringing in my splitter from Smith Creek Studios. And this is my full size again. So I'm going to get 4 loaves out of this one. And let's see. I just want to double check something. Making sure I have the right one. Yeah. I know exactly how much I need to slice off the side. Need to give myself a little bit more than I did on the last one. Because these will not only make a real nice edge, but it's also going to be my samples that I send out with orders. I've probably gone off screen there. Wow. Look how fun that is. That is definitely heavy on the confetti this time, but I like it. It's very pretty. Come on. Usually I'm just using some of the edges and such, like these pieces I just sliced off. That's what I would use to shred up for my confetti blossom, but I use my rainbow pear soap. And so then just ends and stuff, so I don't use a lot of the extra bars. But with using just that whole one batch that I had made, I have a lot more to shred. Ah, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Ah, yes. This looks great. I'm not seeing any weirdness at all from it having the older shreds in it, it really does look great. It does. It still has a little bit of a yellow, don't do that, a yellow hue to it, but it's still mostly a creamy white color. I'm not seeing any glycerin rivers in it, which is nice. I usually can avoid them in this batch, which is always convenient. This one and Figgy Cream both, I always manage to avoid the glycerin rivers, but for some reason, some of these other batches I do, I cannot. Alright, last cut. I mean, we have a pretty good idea of what the bars are going to look like, but it's always fun to cut the bars and see how they differ at all from the slices. This one is always such a messy one with all the shreds falling off. Alright, now I have my bar cutter from Bud, and it's handcrafted by Bud Hafner on Etsy. Really good quality cutters. Now if I get one of these like confetti that squishes onto the bottom, it's not really going to be a big thing. I think I'm going to go sideways so that when they fall off, they'll fall off down instead of dragging. I don't like cutting it this way. It always feels so awkward. Oh boy. I want to take a peek. I want to see what it looks like. There is a little bit of texture from it being older, the soap being older. Alright, come on. Come on. Why are you so tight in there? Look at it. Isn't that pretty? I would say it's not my most favorite batch of Confetti Blossom Soap ever, but I love it. I think it still looks very, very good. There's a lot of bright orange in that color that I did, that rainbow. Ugh, I don't like it this way at all. Comes off funny. Oh, look how cute. This bar is so cute on the top. Not quite as heavy on the confetti. Here's one that's a little heavier on the confetti. I do like how I made those little confettis this time. Turned out very, very pretty. Seems like it sticks funny, and I don't like that. So we're gonna just do it the regular way. I definitely want to clean my wires because I don't want this little bit of white soap that's stuck to the wire to get all mixed up in the confetti sprinkles, because then that'd be very difficult to clean up later on. Yeah, it does fine. So you can see how, if it's going to when I cut it the normal way, there'll be a bit of a smear down here, where on this one, it's on the sides. I don't know if you can see it really, but that's just kind of a mess. I don't like that. So we're just gonna keep going. Oh my goodness, this is such a messy batch. It's not messy as in messy, but just a lot of confetti to clean up when I'm done. And fresh soap and even little bits of soap like this, it just smears, is my experience. A lot of times I have to wet a rag after I do soap cutting, and it just has to get all soapy and wet so that I can get all of these smears off. Okay, yes. This one has a lot of neonish orange in it, I feel like. That's all right. I was on Amazon last night and with my son, and we were picking out a thing for him. And I asked him what colors, like blue and green and orange and pink. And of course you wanted the pink one, right? He was like, no, actually I did not want the pink one. But he picked orange. And I said, I did not see that coming. Because as a rule, I don't love orange. And that has apparently not carried over to my children. My mother, on the other hand, loves orange. That also did not carry over to me. Alright, I'm going to cut one more, and then the last one will be for my sampler that I put together. This one has a lot on it. It's just so dang cute. I just can't get over how cute these little shreds are. A lot of extra one on. A lot of extra. And they will fall off as I clean them up, bevel and plane, and put them on the tray and all the things. It'll fall off even more, but that's why I try to push them in a little bit. I keep forgetting to take off my sample piece. That's neat though. I feel like that one has a fun look. I get so many samples from these big loaves that I just don't get with some of my newer molds. I love having all these to send out. I usually take the bigger ones for myself. That's what we enjoy using. So I will be cutting these up, which, you know, these are going to make a lot of samples as well. I cut them at 2 inches, so I get a little bit more out of them. Alrighty, well, cold processed soap has to cure for 4 to 6 weeks at minimum. So I am going to be lining them on a parchment covered tray, and they're going to go on my curing rack, which is just a baker's rack. And they are just going to sit there, and they are just going to be happy, and they're going to evaporate excess moisture. That's going to make a harder, longer lasting soap bar. But it also is going to develop a crystalline structure, and that's really important for a wonderful bar of soap. Alright, I hope that you have enjoyed this video, the making and cutting of Confetti Blossom Soap. I know I've made it several times before, but this is a well-loved batch, and I know many of you that love it love seeing it being made over and over. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.